Hey, Josie with Queen My Pawn. I'm going to be going over another SAT question, particularly the SAT question of the day on Varsity Tutors. I think this is an interesting website. Going to the SAT math question of the day keeps you prepared for any topic that might pop up. I know it says 33 minutes here, but obviously I haven't taken 33 minutes to solve the problem. I just left the web page open. Now, it says the provided circle has the following circumference. So before even continuing, you must know what circumference specifically means. And if you forgot, well, you could look up circum root word, and it means round around. So it's talking about around the circle right here. And because it's doing that, then you know it has to do with the distance around the circle. And actually, ference, the second part of the word, means carry. So carry around the circle, which at that point, I think they mean carry the distance around the circle. And the distance around the circle is pi times d. Now, how did we get that? Well, Archimedes found out that the circumference, which is the distance around the circle in red, is a ratio of pi divided by the diameter. And actually, you could look at it like this. Imagine that the diameter was 1, okay? So if you roll out the circle from this point, that means that you like pull the circle apart. So I don't think I have an appropriate tool around me, but it's like if you took the circle and just separated it, the distance was measured to be 3.14. So it turns out that that's 3.14 over 1. It should have the same ratio as that. The diameter is 1, the distance is called around the circle pi, and it's 3.14. Now here it says the circumference is 64 pi. That means that if the circumference is 64 pi, that means that the diameter is 64. Because for the formula I just explained, circumference equals pi times diameter, and circumference, which is right there, and you just have to basically make this number look like that one. And so basically it would be saying 64 pi equals diameter times pi, and after divided by pi, you clearly get 64 equals diameter. So now that we know that the diameter is 64, I could actually write it in blue. This is 64. Let's see what it's asking us about this circle. Find its equation. Oh, okay, so I instantly remember that the formula of a circle is, and let me clear this up. Let me actually scroll up. So there we go. The formula of a circle is x squared plus y squared equals r squared. Okay. Now here's the thing. When you shift it away from the origin, which is over here, the formula no longer becomes this, but it becomes something else, which I'll go over in a moment. For now, let's try to figure out what the r is. The r is just the radius. Radius is going to be half of the diameter. So 64 divided by 2 is 32. And let me show you a cool trick when it comes to dividing by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2, and 6 divided by 2 is 3. So 32 times 2 is 64. That makes sense. The radius is 32 squared. And if you use my FOIL trick, you can do it in your head. You get 900 plus 60 plus 60 plus 4 is 1024. So really, it equals 1024. And that's what the radius is. That's what the radius squared is. Let's keep going down, and you'll see that there's only literally one. And that's got to be the answer. You don't even have to calculate this part, but I'm going to explain what this part means right now. Okay. It's going to be the first one. But let me explain what that means. So basically, here's what it's trying to say. It's shifting the origin. And I'm going to clear the drawings here. When you have a different origin like this, 32 by 32, then you have to make it so that the equation will treat that as the origin. And that would have to be x minus 32 squared plus y minus 32 squared equals 1024. Because if you plug in x is 32 and y is 32, you get 0 squared plus 0 squared. Obviously, that's not going to be true. But now you can see that it's like the origin again. And so it's like you're adding, it's like you're subtracting 32 from any point on the circumference of the circle. That point right there would have to be 64, comma 32. Because we went, let me put it in red, or actually no, green. That point right there, green, that has to be 64, 32. How did I get that? Well, I know that from here to here, that's just the diameter, which is 64. And I know from here to there, the top, that's 32. That's how I got that. So plugging that in, you get 64 minus 32 squared plus y is 32, so that's going to be 0 squared, because 32 minus 32 is 0. That should give me 1024. Let's see if that's true. Hey, it's true. So that's what we've all done right there. And is that formula actually here, or did I just guess? Let's see. Oh, look, it's actually the same thing. And will I be correct? The moment of truth. You scored better. Okay, whatever. It says I'm correct, of course. So again, I didn't take 18 minutes. I just left the web page open. But we can actually go to Wolfram Alpha and look at some more circles this way. Wolfram Alpha will graph any equation that you give it. Like, it'll even graph y equals x, for example. But we're not trying to concern ourselves with the simplest of lines. If I have x minus 16 squared plus y minus 25 squared equals 81, what is the middle of the circle here? Like, what is the ordered pair of the middle of the circle? Where does the circle start? If I had a Cartesian plane right there, where would I put the middle of the circle, and how long would be the radius? So pause the video and see if you can try to figure it out. Okay, so you can see that in order to make x the origin, it would have to be 16. So that's 16. And for y to be the origin, it have to be 25. So that would be the middle of the circle. And how big? Well, this is r squared, 81. So doing r squared equals 81, do the square root. The exponent and the root cancel out. So you get r equals, you can do this on a calculator, but the answer is just 9. So the radius will be 9. And that means that that's the answer. And you can actually see it for yourself by plugging in equal. The circle, right? That's 16 and that's 25. That's the middle point. And you can see that the radius extends 9 from the middle of the circle. Now be careful, if there's a minus sign, it's not going to give you a circle because that's not the equation of a circle. It's supposed to be plus in the middle. It's going to give you a hyperbola, which is not a fun shape to deal with, in my opinion. But you can have positives in the middle of the parentheses. It's just now it's going to be, the origin is going to be in a negative quadrant. That's going to be negative 16, negative 25. So we can see that actually right here. See how it's x is negative and y is negative? So that's actually, that's all there is about circles. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.